An investment banker is analyzing two companies that specialize in the production and sale of candied apples. Old Fashioned Apples uses a labor-intensive approach, and Mech Apple uses a mechanized system. Variable costing income statements for the two companies are shown below. So they've given you sales, variable cost, contribution margin, fixed cost, operating income for both companies. The investment banker wants to acquire one of these companies. However, she is concerned about the impact that each company's cost structure might have on its profitability. So required one, calculate each company's degree of operating leverage, determine which company's cost structure makes it more sensitive to changes in its sales volume. All right, so let's start with Old Fashioned. And we could put the formula up here. Degree of operating leverage is your contribution margin in total, don't use per unit, divided by your operating income, which you would always usually see in total because you've got fixed costs included in there. So for Old Fashioned, their contribution margin is $120,000. Their operating income is $100,000. So their degree of operating leverage is 1.2. Mech Apple, on the other hand, their contribution margin is $260,000, and their operating income exactly the same at $100,000. So their degree of operating leverage is 2.6. So which company's cost structure makes it more sensitive to its changes in sales volume? And this is usually displayed by which one has the higher degree of operating leverage. So in this case, that's Mech Apple. Mech Apple is more sensitive to changes in their sales volume, meaning their operating income could change significantly if their sales volume changes. And let's just show that in required 2, because it says determine the effect on each company's operating income if sales decrease by 10%. I said do not prepare income statements. You could, in essence, just go and do the 10%, but you have to have your degree of operating leverage, so you might as well do it just that way. So under Old Fashioned, 10% change multiplied by their degree of operating leverage of 1.2 means they will have a 12% change, and it is an decrease. They said determine the effect on each company's operating if sales decrease by 10%. So therefore, their operating income is presently at $100,000. Both companies' operating income is there. So times the 12% means they will have a $12,000 decrease. And it just said the effect on the company's operating income. You could probably say 12,000 decrease, or you could say the new operating income is 88,000. For Mech Apple, 10% decrease times their degree of operating leverage of 2.6 means they will have a 26% decrease, which means on $100,000 of operating income times 26%, they will have a $26,000 decrease, which means on their $100,000 of income, they would end up at a $74,000 new operating income. So pretty easy once you have the degree of operating leverage. Again, make sure you answer the question posed. Required 3, determine which company the investment banker should acquire. Explain. Well, number 1, they're an investment banker. Just as a point. Which company would you acquire? They're both presently making $100,000 of net income, of operating income. They're both presently at the exact same sales dollars. Depends. Gotta love answers that are depends. What is your risk tolerance or something like that? What do you think the market, the future market, will be for candied apples? This week you might go, are they made in Canada? This week. Okay, market situation, all of that's going to impact the company. So you're not just going to go, hey, the company's degree of operating leverage is this. They both have the same sales. They both have the same operating income. You would want to go to the one that you think, hey, is the market going to increase? If you're risk adverse, meaning you don't like risk, you probably go with old-fashioned. If you want to risk your investment and you're hoping the market will increase, then you go with MEC Apple. If you think the market's going to decrease, you'll go with old-fashioned. So it all depends on things for the future that you cannot make a determination at this point. So it's all up to the investment banker.